In the glitzy, high-stakes empire of global pop culture, billions of music fans think they completely know everything about the king of pop, Michael Jackson. They know the legendary moonwalk, the historic multi-platinum records, and the dark, chaotic media storms that surrounded his final days. But inside the ultra-secretive, corporate world of music, catalogs, and high-end investments, the absolute most shocking and cutthroat battle didn't actually begin until after his tragic departure. Today, Jackson's massive global empire is securely printing over $900 million in revenue, yet the fierce masterminds fiercely fighting to protect this staggering family fortune are none other than his own children, Prince Paris and Bigi Jackson. Away from the artificial glare of Hollywood cameras, these three heirs have spent years executing a silent, iron-clad corporate warfare against predatory entertainment executives, ruthless catalog buyers, and multi-billion-dollar legal sharks who attempted to completely dismantle their father's legacy. This is the raw, unfiltered investigation into how Michael Jackson's children outsmarted the ultimate corporate elite, secured their family's massive real estate empire, and executed a brilliant wealth protection master plan that completely paralyzed Hollywood. To fully grasp the intense drive behind the Jackson dynasty, we must step into the high-pressure environment of Gary, Indiana. Michael's childhood was entirely dictated by his steel-willed father, Joe Jackson.
Father and all of those things, it just made me very...
There were no playgrounds, no carefree weekends, and no normal childhood memories. Instead, young Michael was subjected to endless, military-style music rehearsals inside a cramped family home. Joe Jackson managed his children like a corporate startup, demanding absolute perfection and punishing the slightest mistakes with extreme discipline. While this harsh upbringing stripped Michael of a normal childhood, it forged a psychological work ethic so powerful that it transformed him into the most disciplined, unstoppable entertainer the world had ever seen. Behind the massive global pop star image, Michael Jackson's marital choices were often highly scrutinized by the mainstream media. His marriages to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, and later to Debbie Rowe, were constantly surrounded by tabloid speculation. But modern financial and media analysts look back at these relationships through a completely different lens. These alliances provided Michael with an emotional and strategic shield during intense periods of heavy media attacks, keeping his private life insulated from corporate sharks who wanted to see his multi-million-dollar music empire crumble. The true legacy of Michael Jackson transitioned into a completely brand new era with the birth of his three children, Prince, Paris, and Biggie, who was originally known to the world as Blanket. Raised inside the heavily secured walls of his private properties, these three kids were protected from the aggressive paparazzi by wearing custom masks in public, a controversial choice that Michael made to ensure they could experience a level of privacy he was always denied. Michael deeply educated his children on the brutal realities of the entertainment business, teaching them from a very young age that they weren't just heirs to a name, but the future guardians of an untouchable creative empire. Nowhere was Michael's desire for an insulated family empire more visible than his legendary estate. The Neverland Ranch in California, spanning over 2,700 acres, this massive property was a real estate masterpiece, featuring a private amusement park, an exotic zoo, and a custom-built train station. But far from just a flashy display of wealth, Neverland was engineered as a high-security sanctuary, where Michael and his children could live completely, undisturbed by the outside corporate chaos. It was an expensive, private paradise built to recreate the childhood Michael never had, heavily guarded by top-tier security perimeters. In the years following his passing, the mainstream financial world was completely paralyzed by the sheer power of Michael Jackson's estate. While critics predicted bankruptcy due to his historic debts, his estate pulled off a massive financial turnaround, printing over $900 million, 900 million plus, in massive posthumous revenue. This unparalleled financial empire was built on smart corporate moves, including his legendary acquisition of the ATV Sony music catalog, which held the rights to the Beatles' greatest hits, a legendary asset that has continuously generated multi-million-dollar checks for his heirs decades after the initial investment. But hoarding a $900 million empire immediately attracted the world's most dangerous financial predators, massive corporate conglomerates, predatory music executives, and high-powered legal teams launched aggressive, hostile maneuvers to try and strip the Jackson children of their rightful control over the lucrative music catalog. These outside forces assumed that the young, grieving heirs would easily fold under extreme legal pressure and sign away their father's master recordings for quick cash. However, Hollywood completely underestimated the fierce corporate survival skills Michael had instilled in his children. As the oldest son, Prince Jackson quietly stepped up to become the foundational corporate pillar of the family estate. Graduating with a high-level degree in business administration, Prince completely rejected the wild Hollywood partying lifestyle. Instead, he locked himself in corporate boardrooms, working closely with financial trustees to oversee the family's massive corporate investments. Prince understood that protecting the Jackson name required strict operational discipline, and he successfully positioned himself as the ultimate gatekeeper of his father's complex commercial assets. While her brothers handled the deep corporate finances, Paris Jackson used her massive global influence to build an untouchable cultural shield around the family name. Stepping into the elite worlds of high fashion and independent music, Paris built a powerful, independent, multi-million-dollar brand. By dominating international magazine covers and working with top-tier global luxury brands, she completely insulated her personal wealth and ensured that the Jackson family maintained an elite, untouchable presence in global high society. The youngest son, Bigi Jackson, operating entirely away from the public eye, has evolved into the family's most private and defensive asset. Known for his absolute silence and complete refusal to engage with public media, Bigi lives a heavily guarded, low-profile lifestyle. However, financial insiders reveal that behind his quiet exterior lies a deeply protective son who monitors every single legal filing regarding his father's master recordings, ready to deploy multi-million-dollar legal defenses at a moment's notice. The defining battle for the Jackson Empire reached a historic peak during massive, secret negotiations with Sony Music. The corporate vultures wanted complete ownership of Michael's historic publishing rights, but the heirs, standing perfectly united, executed a brilliant legal defense. They structured a historic deal that allowed them to liquidate a massive portion for a staggering $600 million, while still retaining permanent, iron-clad control over the primary family assets, creating a bulletproof financial shield for generations to come. With their massive multi-million-dollar inheritance, the Jackson children completely rejected the public, chaotic celebrity streets, choosing instead to invest in ultra-luxury, heavily gated real estate compounds in Calabasas, California. These massive private sanctuaries feature advanced security technology, massive walls and military-grade facial recognition perimeters designed to give the next generation of the Jackson family complete peace, entirely safe from paparazzi drones and obsessed stalkers, while global wealth registries list the individual net worth of each child at over $100 million. Financial insiders know this number is completely deceptive because the primary music, catalog, and real estate assets continue to print millions of dollars in passive royalties. Every single day, their true collective financial leverage crosses deep into billionaire territory, making the Jackson heirs one of the wealthiest family dynasties in entertainment history. To survive the dangerous corporate traps of Hollywood, the Jackson children maintained an incredibly small, tight-knit inner circle. They completely cut off fake friends, superficial industry executives, and opportunistic advisors. Their inner circle consists strictly of loyal family members, long-term estate executors, and top-tier corporate lawyers, ensuring that every financial decision and private family matter remains completely protected from media leaks. Carrying on their father's immense humanitarian legacy, the Jackson heirs operate a massive, underground philanthropic network. They quietly channel millions of dollars into advanced medical research, youth education centers, and global environmental initiatives. However, following strict family protocols, they heavily demand that these multi-million-dollar donations remain completely private, refusing to use charity as a superficial corporate PR stunt. But engineering a $900 million musical dynasty carried a devastating physical toll that eventually shattered Michael Jackson from the inside out. To maintain his status as an absolute perfectionist, Michael subjected his body to decades of extreme physical punishment on stage, breaking bones, damaging his spine, and suffering horrific third-degree burns. During a legendary corporate commercial shoot, to cope with the grueling physical agony and the agonizing insomnia caused by constant media warfare, he became entirely dependent on heavy, clinical-grade medications. Behind the flawless, high-energy performances that generated billions of dollars for the entertainment industry, Michael was privately living in a silent world of constant physical torment, proving that reaching the absolute mountaintop of global celebrity, fame always demands the ultimate human sacrifice. Ultimately, the extraordinary saga of the Jackson Empire is the definitive proof that true wealth is not about flashing money, but about holding the line against corporate greed. Michael Jackson built a legendary financial fortress, and despite every hostile takeover attempt by major Hollywood executives, his children successfully protected the crown jewels of his creative life, setting a historic blueprint for asset preservation in the music industry. From the intense, grueling rehearsals in Gary, Indiana, to his children standing perfectly victorious against multi-billion-dollar corporate sharks, Michael Jackson proved that a legendary legacy can never be stolen when an empire is guarded by absolute family loyalty. Drop your completely unfiltered thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Michael Jackson's children executed the greatest wealth protection plan in music history? Or should they have sold the entire catalog? Hit that subscribe button right now to join Legend Stories. Turn on notifications and never miss another deep, raw investigation into the hidden lives of history's greatest icons.